Up next on God's Property Podcast, please beware of the bottom feeders. The people that's down there that live in ground zero, that live broken down, that live in the gutters. Yeah, beware of those. You know those people who love bad news, like, ooh, you heard that teacher just got fired? Ooh, you heard that this person, they sex tape got leaked? Ooh, did you hear that this pastor, he was cheating on his wife? Bottom feeder energy. Welcome to God's Property Podcast, where our property value, baby, it always goes up. What's up, y'all? And welcome back to another God's Property Podcast, where our property value, baby, it's always going up. Okay. So let's get into this episode. Before we do that, let's talk about episode 1, because that was so good. I don't know if you guys were able to listen to that one, but if you have not, you gotta go back. Listen to that episode. We hit some heavy points. One of the main 3 points that we hit was, number 1, I'm human. Number 2 was the signs of breaking down. And then number 3 was the reality. So yeah, we are in episode 2 of our first series, Demolish and Rebuild. And this episode, guys, this one is called Ground Zero. Y'all, I'm telling you from right now, this one, you might have to get a little tissue. Throat finna be hurting. Because when I was thinking about this episode, it hit so many heavy points. It's ridiculous. So let's talk about it. So now that the breakdown has happened, right? It's ground zero. We're at the bottom. Like, everything has fell. We broke down. Everything's on the floor. It's just dust. It's just gravel, right? Sometimes we just need to, point 1, rest and digest. Just rest. Rest and digest in that. I think a lot of the times when we don't kind of survey and look at what happened, so we broke down, we're at ground zero, and we don't just sit in it, history tends to repeat itself. So why don't we sit down, rest, right? So we can recoup, digest what just happened, right? And think about how we can move forward. If we don't do that, then the same thing will happen over and over and over and over. And I know that you guys can probably finish this phrase for me. Insanity is what? Doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So let's sit down, think what happened, and try not to have that same thing happen again. I grew up in a Caribbean household, and one of the things my mom would always say to me, she would always say, hard airs will feel. So that means, in layman terms, that if you can't use these and listen, you're going to feel it. And you're going to feel it again and again and again. Because when you don't listen and you don't take heed, you'll feel. So that is what I want us to do, especially when we see ourselves, whether you are at ground zero, at rock bottom, hit rock bottom, or, planning for the future. If that may happen in the future, just know when you get there, rest and digest. Know how you got there, and take a survey to make sure you don't get there again. Okay? The next thing, which is crazy, and it's a little harsh, but I'm going to say it anyway. Point 2, when you're at ground zero, please beware of the bottom feeders. The bottom feeders, the people and yeah, that's down there that live in ground zero, that live broken down, that live in the scum, in the crumbs and the scrum. What is it? The gutters. Yeah, beware of those, because I hate that whole saying of haters and this and that. But sometimes we have people in our lives, whether it be coworkers, friends, even relationships, parents, who are bottom feeders, and they just live in ground zero. And what's so crazy and actually kind of disgusting about bottom feeders, I love me a crab boil. Give me some snow crab, headless shrimp, because I don't want no work. I'm already working a lot with the crab, and I don't like sausage. It's too salty. But give me some snow crab, some headless shrimp. Oh, I'm gonna tear it up. A corn, a potato, and one boiled egg. Oh, I'm tearing it up. But the truth of the matter is, those creatures, they're bottom feeders. And if you really know what a bottom feeder eats, not only does it eat stuff that's like on the ground, that grows out of the seas and the ocean, like, I don't know, not lettuce, but the coral reefs and stuff that's there. Not only do they eat that, but bottom feeders eat other dead things that are down there. If y'all, that can preach, okay, that can preach. Bottom feeders, oh, they waiting for somebody to die so they can eat them up. They gonna eat you up real quick. As soon as you decide to lay down and die, oh, they're gonna eat you up. They will. We have to be aware of those bottom feeders. And if you're a bottom feeder yourself and you found yourself stuck in ground zero, oh, you can grow up. Oh, you can grow up to be a Nemo or a Dory. You can grow up so you're not stuck at ground zero and just stay there and feed off of dead stuff. You know those people who love bad news, like, ooh, you heard that teacher just got fired? Ooh, you heard that this person, they sex tape got leaked? Ooh, did you hear that this pastor, oh, he was cheating on his wife? Bottom feeder energy. I don't. Now, discussing things, it's okay. But if every time it's like you get energy off, oh, I knew the church was bad because bottom feeder energy. We got to change our mindset. And I've caught myself many of times. And the friends that I have in my life, because they are not bottom feeders, oh, they're going to check me on it. And trust and believe, I check them too. Same thing with my relationships, with my husband, with my mother, with my sister. We check each other and say, oh, no, it's not that type of energy. We're not doing that. That's I'm gonna say it every time now when I talk to them. Be like, ooh, that's bottom feeder energy. We don't do that here. That's bottom feeder energy. So point 1, we said rest and digest, right? And point 2, we said that we're not doing the bottom feeder energy. We gotta beware of those bottom feeders at ground zero. The next thing I want to say is that sometimes we just gotta have a memorial. Like we gotta grieve what we lost. When everything fell, when we broke down, when that relationship ended, when they let you go from the job that you worked for 10 years and the people that you trained were the ones that fired you, you can grieve it. It's okay. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel bad about what happened. There is a place in New York. I recently went to New York with Joshua, who's my husband, on a work trip. And he was working like from the crack of dawn to late at night. So we hardly saw each other, but I went there. And while he was working, I like walked everywhere, the whole of New York City. I went everywhere, okay? And while I was there, one of the kind of sightseeing places that I was gonna go to was the memorial, Ground Zero. And so powerful. I'm so emotional, so I couldn't take it. So I actually did not go, but I did kind of pass and, just pay my respects and do my moment of silence, because I do have some people that I know that did pass, and as well as the people I don't know. But the thing is, sometimes it's okay to look at that and see that and be sad and remember what we lost. Everything changed after 9/11. The whole setup for airports and TSA and the security changed after that, right? Now it's a hassle. We have to take off our shoes and all of that. But at the same time, it's safer, right? So there was a lot of pros mixed in with the cons, a big con, and a lot of sacrifice was made in order to get there. There was a lot of martyrs. We lost so many people that day. And sometimes we just have to understand that in order for some good things to be birthed, in order for good things to come out, there has to be some grief and some sadness. There is a movie that I love, and if you know me, this animated movie, it's like my favorite animated movie, and it's called Inside Out, and they're coming out with a part 2 soon. And I'm really excited about that. But if you are not familiar with Inside Out, it's basically just an animated movie about a young girl who is kind of working through life and going through the course of life, and they personify her emotions in her head. And throughout the movie, we learn that in order to truly experience joy, there has to be some level of sadness. There has to be. And I thought that was just so brilliant, because a lot of the times we don't think about sadness in a good light, but it's a part of the human experience, and we have to experience sadness in order to know how joy feels and what it looks like. And another movie reference, because I love it, I'm a Tyler Perry y'all out. I know everything line for line, word for word. Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Whew, I watched that and used to mouth it like crazy. But I remember when she was with her newfound love, and she said, if I didn't have a man that treated me so bad in the past, I wouldn't know how good of a man is standing in front of me right now. And again, just to beat the point to death, sometimes we have to experience grief and sadness and death and horror in order to see light and joy and happiness. I was in the kitchen the other day, and I was thinking about a lot, adulting, because it's ghetto. And all of a sudden, the atmosphere shifted, because I started talking to God, and I was like, God, I don't know. There's so much trouble. There's so much stuff to do, to accomplish, to work out. And I was actually telling my grandma that this, because we were talking the other day, and I was telling her that the atmosphere shifted and a song, listen, them hymns, oh, the church I grew up in, I used to be so bored of those hymns, but those hymns, those things carry you through. And a song automatically just dropped in my spirit. And that hymn, oh my gosh, it says, "There's too many sunsets that lie behind the mountain, too many rivers that my feet have gone through. Too many treasures are laying over yonder. I've got too much to gain to lose." Listen, we can't give up at ground zero. We can't do it. We can't. There's too much to gain. There's too much that we have gone through. And even though we're memorializing and we feel bad and there's grief and we feel sad about what happened in the past with the breakdown and, that relationship that you thought you were going to get married and they let you go after 10 years, even though, at this job and you trained the person that fired you. It's okay. It's okay to grieve it. It's okay to feel sad about it. But there's too much to gain to lose now. And there's sunsets behind that mountain. In Romans, it says, "For I reckon the sufferings of this present time cannot be compared to the joy." Oh my gosh, the joy. It's not over in ground zero. Let's rest and digest and learn so history doesn't repeat itself. Let's pick out those bottom feeders. Let's pick out the things in us that we can, act like a bottom feeder. Let's grieve and memorialize whatever happened, but let's move forward. Let's move forward and not stay at ground zero. I want you guys to know it's not over until God says it's over. Thank you guys for tuning in to another God's Property podcast. This was such a good episode. I had to hold back those tears, especially when we got to that hymn, because baby, I'm a hymn girl. Like I'm telling you, I know that whole green book in the past. Like I thought I didn't know, but I do know. If you know a hymn or two, go ahead and drop it in the comments. And also drop in the comments if you recognized any of these attributes in yourself, whether it be a bottom feeder, because sometimes we can be that thing. And if you recognize that in the people around you and how you plan to move forward, let's have a conversation. Let's discuss this. Let's do it. Okay? Follow me on all of my social media platforms. That's at YALL Existing. That's me. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and also hearing you, I guess. I do love you with the love of the Lord, the one that bestows love on us. I give it to you. Again, it's not over until God says it's over. Okay? Thank you. Have a good one. Bye. This has been another God's Property podcast. Remember, God already paid it all for you when He died on the cross.